Hello, welcome back to Mountain Gym Card Collectibles. Your week is going awesome. So, I've been going over some recent data points from GemRate, and I've been reading some comments that reflects upon kind of the low grading numbers for sports cards. And I'm asking myself, a lot of what I've seen online, not just on X, I'm just going to focus on X today, is I'm noticing kind of like a sports card hobby burnout. And you have to ask yourself, well, what's really propping up the card hobby right now? And you can't deny it. It's the TCG. It's all going TCG. But let's hit some of these numbers, and we'll go over some recent posts put up on X. Overall, PSA graded a total of 1.66 million cards, which is up 19% year over year. It's down 1% month over month. And, in second place at 438,000 is CGC. They're up 156% year over year. I believe that the reason why you see CGC, up so much is because they're really PSA's only valid competition. I mean, I just call SGC PSA Junior, and people are pulling out of SGC. It's like, well, if I want to do SGC, I'll just go to PSA. So SGC down 23% month over month, down 29% year over year. So obviously buying out SGC, that was one of the PSA's big goals. And I believe that this is really what they wanted. SGC was obviously kind of making PSA nervous, so they bought them out. Will PSA buy CGC out? I hope not, because it's hard to deny the monopolization of grading. Anyway, the numbers for sports cards are alarming. The PSA grade a total of 661,000 for August. It's down 2% month over month. It's down 20% year over year. And SGC, in second place, 112,000 total, down 21% month over month, down 29% year over year. Then, of course, CGC is up 68% at 36,000, but, they're typically doing more of the, TCG market. And then we see really what is keeping PSA afloat. 1.01 million TCG graded for August, 0% month over month, up 75% year over year. I asked myself what this will be if we look at this number in August 2026 for their numbers. Eventually, the TCG market's going to take a hit. I'm not sure when, because you can clearly see it in the sports card market. Now, if you're into sports cards, which I prefer over TCG, it's hard to deny the downturn in grading. Why is that occurring? Well, it's hard not to notice the saturation in sports card grading from the last few years. I mean, there's just a lot of sports card slabs out there, and people were grading a lot of slabs, and anything and everything. A few years ago, I remember, watching people, 2022, 2023, it seems like, everything they'd buy, they'd grade. And maybe that was the hard lesson there, is not everything on the sports card market is worthy of grading. But why is the sports card market kind of deflating? Well, I go back to the fact that, it's based on breakers. And yeah, you have a lot of breakers, hitting TCG. But you don't have to start a breaking company to rip into TCG. Let's face it. Yeah, you can rip sports cars. You can go to Walmart, buy yourself a cheap box, but let's be honest, you're not going to get much. So let's read some comments and dig into the market here. So here's one. This is just a reply on X. It says, and this is replying to something, but this is a good example of what's happened to the market. BS, hobby is propped by Pokemon and TCG. And I would have to agree with that statement. Shelves stocked and sports card inventory untouched in multiple locations, which I've seen that at my local Walmart lately, that the stuff just isn't moving. Per gem rate, PSA has had a 20% decline in year-over-year in sports card submissions. So this individual obviously saw that data point too. It's not a good sign. Okay, so here's another, just statement or comment on X. Starting to feel burned out from collecting. Definitely something that I won't drop as a hobby, but we'll try to focus on other things. Here's one. This is fairly recent. I'm so effing done with this hobby, I just can't take it anymore. The joy of collecting has been completely ruined by leeches who only care about making a quick buck. Sorry if I'm being dramatic, but I'm so close to selling off my collection, never thinking about cards again. Okay, so just go ahead and click the pictures here. Signs that the market is not healthy and overly available and mass-produced holo has been manipulated. All right. Apparently over 42,000 Phantasmal Flames items have been purchased by this bot on Pokemon Center. All right. I'm not sure, something to do with Pokemon Center, but there's some high volume of traffic. So obviously, there's going to be some burnout for the TCG side too, not just sports cards. Okay, so here's a comment. People trying to make money is destroying the card collecting hobby. Hear me out. I get it, but these breakers and companies saying all the hits to promote product is not going to end well. It may not be this year or next, but it will happen. That's why I stopped buying so much rip product and focusing on my PC. I love the hobby. I hate seeing it going this way. Okay. Which I would have to agree. Because really, when you look at sports cards anymore, it's all about the money. It's not about, the players, really. It's just about the value. Here's another comment. Once upon a time, no more than 6 to 7 years ago, the hobby wasn't for everyone. It was a nerdy thing. We did it in the shadows and were told by our significant others to please stop bringing it up at parties or in social settings. Sometimes we'd give a card to a friend of a player he really likes. Sometimes we'd show some people, yes, I really do still have a Pokemon collection, but it was generally a little secret slice of our lives and brought us joy. Anyway, fast forward to today. Tom Brady has his face all over the hobby and Fanatics. Alex Rodriguez, Livy Dunn, Kevin Hart, hired bikini models sitting next to breakers. The hobby looks more like Vegas than like a 1990s LCS, local card shop. This crowd has infiltrated. Is that bad? I don't know. It feels bad to me. But like so many people keep saying, don't gatekeep the hobby. It's for everyone. Okay, fine, sure. I can't control who's interested in how they consume cards. But FFs, please understand, so many of us didn't ask for the COVID boom. We didn't ask Rubin to buy tops. We want to collect Brady cards. We don't want him as our spokesperson. We have nothing in common with Tom Brady and are fine with it. But if you're curious why new people are met with immediate reserve and then vitriol, it's because, yes, honestly, many of us generally don't effing want them here, and we miss the days when we owned our nerdy thing. It felt special. Now it feels commoditized and commercialized, and the joy for many of us is slipping fast. Yeah, I mean, hobby burnout is definitely a real thing. Here's another statement. Hobbies are becoming exhausting with constant battle passes and new card sets. The pressure to keep up drains the joy from gaming and collecting. It's time to step back and reclaim the fun without the relentless chase. Yeah, and really you can blame the corporations as well for just constantly shilling out cards, new releases. It's just like, give us a chance to collect the latest release, before you throw the new one at us. So, some great comments there. If you're feeling hobby burnout, it's not just you. It's definitely around, and it's around for a lot of reasons. You're going to typically see people pointing their fingers at Michael Rubin for hobby burnout. It's not just him. It's just, that last one I read, off X, where, we're getting Tom Brady as our spokesman, and it feels like Las Vegas more than card collecting. I have to agree, I'm just a small channel on YouTube. The bigger channels, they will sit and hype this up, pretend things are going better than they really are. I can just say what I want to say, which is the way I like it. Let's face it. Even I'm starting to feel some hobby burnout. It's just, when you're always looking at stuff that's just so expensive, and it doesn't need to be expensive. I can relate to these people, especially, I've been in the hobby for a long time, and it just seems like, the fact that you have to own a breaking company to enjoy it, and are they really enjoying it? It just seems like these breaking companies are just in it for the money and nothing else, You see that grading's going down because your typical collector is more than likely moving on. And it's hard to dismiss the fact that, the TCG market really is propping up the card market right now. And for people like me, who prefer sports cards, it hurts in a way, and you go, well, I'd prefer to see the sports card market booming. I would love to see the sports card market booming, but as long as people keep bending the knee to big, wealthy corporate entities like Topps Fanatics, it's not going to change anytime soon, I mean, when you look at how long Topps has monopolized the sports card market for decades, there's a good chance that by the time their monopoly ends, I'll have passed away. That's just it. It's not a good feeling. It's not a good look. So anyway, if you're having some hobby burnout, don't feel bad. The numbers are showing that people are just burning out of sports cards in general. And there's a lot of villains you can point your fingers at, but overall the biggest villain is one word, and that's called greed. Anyway, I'd like to thank my subscribers, my recent subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet and you're a viewer, thanks for watching. And just click the subscription button. It's 100% free. Anyway, hope you have a great day, and hope you tune again for the next episode of Mountain Gym Card Collectibles. I'm out of here. Bye.